and more shopping is done online, what will become of the 16 million Americans who work in the retail industry? Our economics correspondent Paul Solomon takes a look. It's part of our series Making Sense, which airs Thursdays on the NewsHour.
This is a great basic black top.
This summer, Jennifer Richter opened her own clothing boutique online.
This is just the future of retail, is the brick and mortar stores. They're just going to keep trimming the fat and keep eliminating positions.
Richter speaks from experience. In January, she was one of over 10,000 employees laid off from struggling department store chain Macy's.
It just spiraled out of control with traffic down, people not coming in, online sales going up, and it just happened really fast.
Richter worked at Macy's in Manhattan as one of 14 regional directors for stylists. Every one of her colleagues was axed. So far as you know, 12 out of 14 still looking for work half a year later.
Yeah, and I was with Macy's for 2 years, and the other 12 are 10 years plus. Some of them have been with the company for 30 years. When you get to the level we were at, it's harder and harder. It's scary, it really is. This is the Nightingale dress. I have it in 2 colors tonight.
Unable to find work at another retailer, Richter is going it alone.
Really just using Instagram, social media to really market myself. And instead of fighting online like I did for so many years, I'm just embracing it and joining them and doing what I feel there's a need in the market for.
As you've surely heard by now, the growth of e-commerce is wreaking havoc on traditional retail and its workforce. 5,300 store closings were announced in the first half of 2017. Empty storefronts you've probably seen somewhere near you. More painful, the 64,000 job cuts set to be in the works. Mark Cohn runs the Retail Studies program at Columbia Business School.
The retail worker is in a world of hurt. Retailing employs some 10% of the employed population of the United States. These are folks who are often tethered by way of employment to a shopping mall. There's no pathway from a part-time job in a mall, in a specialty store or department store to some other form of employment that's local and available.
Official statistics show the retail sector shedding only 26,000 or so jobs in the past 12 months. But Cohn says that may understate the case.
I think it's going to be difficult to pinpoint the employment status of the folks being laid off. Many of them are part-time employees, so they don't necessarily get captured in the employment numbers.
Malcolm Scoop Hovis worked at old-time retailer Kmart.
Kmart, they got to compete with Walmart, Target, Walgreens. Like Amazon doing deliveries now, so it's too much competition with Kmart.
Hovis was hired as a temp at this Kmart outside Washington months before it closed.
Half the store is empty, but like the inventory is getting smaller, so you come in here and get little knickknacks.
More than 300 Sears and Kmart stores are scheduled to close this year. Sears Holding Company, which owns both Sears and Kmart, has shed some 180,000 jobs in the last 7 years. Mark Cohn was once a Sears executive.
I spent 7 years at Sears, both here in the United States and in Canada. They are hanging on by a fingernail at best. The genre that was legacy retail is, for the most part, in terrible trouble.
The main reason will not surprise you. 1/8 of all retail sales were transacted online last year, up 16% over just the year before. More folks shopping on computers and phones, fewer driving to malls, some of which have literally gone to seed. There's another threat to retail jobs as well: automation, as in cashierless convenience stores, like those being tested in China, and closer to home. So toll the knell for jobs in retail? Not just yet.
You know, since 2007, we've seen about 400,000 jobs created in the e-commerce sector.
Michael Mandel, chief economic strategist at the Progressive Policy Institute, thinks online may spawn more jobs than it whacks.
We've had a small decline in brick and mortar retail. We've had a large increase in e-commerce jobs. A lot of them are jobs in fulfillment centers.
Mandel argues that much of the growth in warehouse employment is actually tied to online retail.
But I've been able to track these jobs using government data down to the county level. And you can see when a fulfillment center opens up in the county, you have a big jump in what the government classifies as warehouse jobs.
On a recent morning in hot summer Baltimore, thousands of job seekers lined up outside an Amazon fulfillment center for a one-day jobs fair held at a dozen sites across the country to recruit 50,000 workers to pick, pack, and ship orders. Amazon's Lauren Lynch.
Here in Baltimore, we're looking to fill 1,200 roles. A few years ago, we didn't have 70 fulfillment centers across the country. Now we've got more than 70, and we need associates to help us fill those orders.
Okay, maybe every retailer now calls its employees associates these days. But no matter what they do, more than 382,000 employees work for Amazon worldwide, and the number's growing. In January, the company promised to create 100,000 more jobs in the U.S. alone.
I think Amazon's going to rule the world soon.
Single mom Candace Taylor got a job offer after almost a year of unemployment.
I'm a little older, and for me to have a company that's stable and to have something that can become a career is exactly what I need.
Also, the above minimum wage pay and benefits, health insurance, retirement, are better than at the mall.
They say they starting off at $13 an hour.
Damian Brown made $10 an hour at Walmart.
Walmart, it's okay. It's not, I wouldn't say it's the best. You're not getting the pay. Right? You might get the hours. You're not going to get the pay off of a break. You're not going to get paid time off.
And Michael Mandel says it's right there in the data.
On average, pay in fulfillment centers is about 30% higher than pay in brick and mortar retail in the same area. Not only that, retail jobs tend to be part-time, maybe not paying benefits. The fulfillment centers have a lot of full-time jobs that have benefits. They seem to be better jobs as far as I can figure out.
D'Angelo Bryan, who's been packing shipments at the Baltimore Fulfillment Center for a couple of months now, even convinced his friends to apply.
I got experience of just about a little bit of everything, and so far I definitely can say Amazon's been the best job that I've had so far.
But let's not romanticize here. The work is grueling.
We're packing really, really fast because we have shipments non-stop. First couple of weeks it was like, I don't know how people do it. Being on your feet for 10 hours a shift, 44 hours a week, sometimes 50. After those 2 weeks, it's just like, whew.
Now, warehouse work is dominated by men, while the retail economy is losing jobs that are mostly held by women. And fulfillment center jobs simply may not be feasible for laid-off brick-and-mortar workers for a host of reasons. Among them, says Cohen,
these are folks who need flexible scheduling and are not able to commute 50 or 100 miles to an Amazon fulfillment center that's open somewhere in the vicinity.
But to Mandel, the net effect is positive, especially given America's ever-widening inequality gap.
The rise of the fulfillment center jobs is having the effect of reducing inequality, because what you're doing is you're talking about raising the wages for people with a high school education by 30%. That's significant.
As automation takes over store jobs, though, won't robots eventually displace the pickers and packers, too? Amazon already uses robots to move goods around. Not to worry, says Amazon's Lynch. The company will simply keep growing and have to add jobs.
Having robots in our fulfillment centers means that we can have more inventory, which means we need more associates to help us fulfill all that inventory, all those customer orders.
But for how long will Amazon and others rely on humans to pick and pack? And so we end with Cartman, a robot built to pick and stow items in a warehouse. It recently won a robotics prize, sponsored by Amazon. For the PBS NewsHour, this is economics correspondent Paul Salman.